we get into any of that, as usual, for those of you listening or watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it if you can. Comment down below with anything you'd like to see us talk about or hear us talk about in any next episodes. And for those of you listening on Spotify, Apple, or any other podcasting platform, please follow and give us a 5-star review. It helps a lot with the algorithms and pushing us up to more viewers and more listeners. All right.
On the board.
100%. So let's move on to Man United Barnsley in the Carabao. Obviously, your favourite trophy at this point in time. An absolute battering. I don't think I need to really go through because I'll spend 25 minutes just talking about the various different goals you scored against them. But you absolutely slapped them. Get the 7-Up cans out. It's your turn, baby.
We're back.
Rashford, Rashford getting properly back on the score sheet now. Antony got his little charity penalty, which, Arteta's a trendsetter out here. Yeah, Arteta is a real trendsetter out here, inventing the charity penalty. Garnacho, obviously really good. Eriksen got his cheeky little brace at the end as well, which is, it's nice to see him get back on the score sheet. As I said, I think he's your second best centre midfielder. But overall, what did you make of it? Did you watch it? How much stock are you putting into this absolute pumping that you gave Barnsley?
So it's a weird one. I didn't watch it live. I was working, but I watched extended highlights afterwards, which I probably shouldn't have bothered with. I should have just watched the normal highlights because, we absolutely battered them. The only thing I will say is Barnsley went for it as well. And so there's a bit of a trend in both of these two games that we've won. The aggregate score is 10-0, but it's against teams that have both gone for it. So we're not going to face those teams every week. It's actually going to be very rare that we face teams that go for it and open up. And Barnsley just went for it. They were like, what the hell? They didn't really have like a staunch game plan or anything like that. So they just went for it. And it opened up and Rashford scored. Both of his finishes were both quite nice. One left foot, one right foot. Got Garnacho as well. Gets back on the score sheet again. Eriksen's double was really nice as well. Nice link-up play with Bruno. And then, Antony did create the goal, to be fair. He did get fouled, but, he did get the pity penalty afterwards. And to be fair, he tucked it away nicely as well. So, no major takeaways other than I just feel like this is a good confidence builder. Got a really tough game, which we're going to talk about in a bit at the weekend. Beating Barnsley comfortably, not having a scare, being able to rest players, let people get some minutes. Let me guess. The postman's here. So it was good overall for us to get the win and the convincing win because it was done by half time, wasn't it? So it was nice. The other positive was Ugarte got a good chunk of minutes. Him and Casemiro looked really handy in midfield. It was interesting because we kind of put Ugarte in the defensive role and let Casemiro roam, and Casemiro looked all right, man. So maybe that's going to be the kind of one of the potential midfield pairings we could see in future games, and give Casemiro less defensive duties and let him kind of drive with the ball in the offensive third. And he looked decent. You know what, though? I will say I'm going to give Eriksen some props because man's been in the wilderness. We haven't seen him for too many times in this last 18 months. And he's still got quality on the ball, man. And he's still one of our midfielders that's able to see passes from deep and play good balls in through break the lines. And I remember back to kind of early Ten Hag reign, Christian Eriksen was key to some big wins that we had against you guys at home. He came up with 2 assists, I think, for Rashford against Liverpool at home. In a lot of the big games, Christian Eriksen was a guy that we really relied on. I don't think he's finished yet. So I do think he can contribute, man. And I don't think it's a wildest shout for him to get minutes at the moment. And man, overall very happy with the win. Happy to get through to the next round. And I just hope we can just keep this momentum going and get a big victory in our next game, because the fixtures will get harder again. We've got Tottenham at home, I think, in a few weeks' time, and some other Aston Villa away, etc. So the fixtures are going to get hard. So we really need to build up some momentum, keep people fit, and you know what? Keep scoring. Because I think on last week's pod, I mentioned, and probably for a couple of weeks now, I've been worried, about our attack and the potency and clinical nature of our attack, and worried about where the goals are going to come from. And boom, we slapped 10 goals on 2 teams' head. I know they're rubbish, but still good, man. So hopefully we can keep it going. But yeah, I'm also happy about who scored. Rashford, Garnacho. I'm happy. I want them to get some confidence back going into these big games. So yeah, I'm not going to say Rashford purple patch incoming, but it's good to see him smiling. Good to see him scoring. Overall, I think he's worked his nads off in these last couple of games as well. Defensively, he's been better. So yeah, man, you got to give them praise when they deserve it. So happy days, 7-0, roll on Yeovil Town or whoever we're going to get in the fourth round. Because we get
you
nice
finally
draws.
found your level, lads. Get them in League Two, and you'll absolutely bump everyone. But last question though, I want to ask you, what does this do for Ten Hag? Is this just a bit of a pressure release for give him a couple more months of people getting off his back a little bit, or is this just going to be more recipe for him to chat absolute waffle when he gets beaten in future games during post-match interviews? Like, how do you see these two results really shaping up for Ten Hag, and has anything changed, or is it similar kind of sentiment as before?
Let's use our common sense. It's obviously the latter. It's going to be the latter until he loses his job or until something clicks and we suddenly get a long run of good results, which I can't really see at the moment, right? And I'm not trying to be negative or anything like that, but we kind of not joked, but we mentioned kind of media agendas and stuff like that. He's not one of the favourites, man. So when we lose or when we have a poor result, they're going to be onto him. And when we win, even though it's Barnsley, even though it's Southampton, he's not going to get his praise. So it is what it is, man. I think a lot of United fans, whether you're Ten Hag in or Ten Hag out, you've come to that understanding, and you kind of accept it, and you just wait for the performances to improve and wait for the results to improve, and you just hope that's what comes. So that's where we are, man. I'm sure he'll waffle in the next press conference if we lose to Crystal Palace or we drop points against Tottenham or Aston Villa. That's kind of who he is at this point, right? And what the media has created from him with how things have gone. So let's just hope things improve. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, bro, we're gonna have a running Ten Hag watch on this pod for the rest of the season until or if he loses his job. I think that's the only way it stops. Unless we have a crazy Arteta style remontada, because let's not act like that kind of wasn't the case a bit with Arsenal fans when things were rough. It was kind of that case as well, but he's managed to turn it around. But I think it's unlikely that Ten Hag will be able to do it. I'll be honest. I don't know if he's got the cojones to do it, and the level of relationship with the players as well. So I think that's something that people always forget when they talk about these Arteta comparisons. Arteta had the dressing room, bro. I think we all knew that. Like the players rated him and they liked him. You never heard murmurings apart from your Aubameyangs and your Ozils. You never heard murmurings. So
But I think those were the ones that he specifically was trying to get rid of as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think you don't include them, but you don't include them because those are the ones he exiled. But the rest of them said nothing. You didn't hear any rumblings of anything, right? Even players that weren't playing, you didn't hear anything. With Man United and Ten Hag, it's not only the ones that he exiles that are going on to Piers Morgan. It's the other ones that are the ones that are there that are also causing trouble. So yeah, let's see. But yeah, I'm going to stay positive, and the results are good. But I think let's be realistic as well. It's going to be Ten Hag watch probably for the rest of the season, and I've accepted it.